Welcome back to another episode of the 5-Minute Life Changer podcast. This is your podcast host, Robert Landau. I'm also a national motivational speaker and certified life coach that works with people all over the world as a life coach via Zoom. Thanks for joining me for this next episode in this series. This episode has a very personal connection to me, as I would suspect it would to you too. The title of the episode, How Can You Love Yourself? Let Me Count the Ways. I want to start things off by telling you a story of a wonderful, wonderful lady that on some of the ships I cruise directed on, I was privileged enough to have her in my cruise staff. Nancy was one of the most wonderful cruise ship hostesses you could ever have hoped to meet. Everybody on the number of ships Nancy and I worked on together loved her. And you know what? So did I. I have never in my cruise ship years met a cruise staff member who was more positive, more upbeat, smiled all the time, and never ever let anything get to her. Until one night. After I would MC all of the shows on a particular evening on the ships, I didn't want to go back to my cabin right away because I was so supercharged and energized from MCing the shows that I couldn't get back to my cabin and go to sleep right away. So I would often walk around the open promenade decks of the ships. One night, after the second sitting showtime, I was walking around the promenade deck. And there's usually nobody out there at that time, but I did happen to see somebody who was sitting on a deck chair towards the end of that part of the deck of the ship. And as I got closer, I could see that it was Nancy. And it wasn't the usual Nancy that I had come to know. Nancy was crying like I had never seen anybody cry before. And I was absolutely stunned because this was not like Nancy. So she saw me and I started to walk up to her. I said, Nancy, what is wrong? And she said, Robert, you know that I have been having this wonderful romantic relationship with the manager of the casino on board this ship. I really hoped that it would lead to something incredibly serious once the contract for this season was up for both of us. And I said, okay, I do know that, but what's wrong? And she said, Robert, earlier tonight, Mike broke up with me. And I said, oh, Nancy, I am so sorry. What happened? And she said, he didn't think that I was able to love him simply because I didn't love myself. And I said, Nancy, that's ridiculous. You are the most loving, giving, joyful person I've ever met. And she said, Robert, Mike was right. I do my job because I love my job, and I think I do it well. But deep inside me, Robert, I don't love myself. I never have. And sometimes I fear that I never will. I was stunned. I was absolutely stunned. For once, I didn't have anything to say. And she said, Robert, this actually, as painful as it is a good thing for me. Because now I need to work on reconnecting with me and learn what it is to love me. And whatever was preventing me from doing that, I'm going to heal myself and get it done and get to the bottom of this. Because Mike was right. I can't love him in the way that I want to, in the way that he wants me to, if I don't love myself. I gave Nancy a big hug and I said, Nancy, you're brilliant. That is so true. I am here for you anytime you need me. And if it's one thing I know about you, you're going to get this job done. Suffice it to say that I worked again with Nancy 2 years later. And guess who was her husband? Mike. So, if she can do it, any one of us can do it. And she was so right. You cannot love anybody else unless you love yourself first. You can't give of yourself to anybody else unless you really know what it is to give to yourself first. Otherwise, you're going to give, love someone else and deplete your energy and deplete the wonderful soul that you truly are. I had to learn that for many years myself. So many relationships would fail because I hated myself. I truly didn't love myself. So how did I turn things around, and how can you? Start to believe that the love you feel for yourself, even though you don't think it's there, is there. You were born that way. Somehow, through life up till this moment, you've convinced yourself that you cannot love yourself. You are unlovable. That couldn't be more untrue. So how do you turn things around? Start to feel what it would feel like. Just imagine, just play. Be creative. Start to feel, because feelings are so much more important than thoughts, what it would feel like to truly love yourself. We spend so much time in front of the mirror in the morning and in the evening. That's time that you can work with yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror, in your eyes, and say, I love you. Does that sound ridiculous? Does that sound hokey? Yeah, I'm sure it does. But that is one of the many ways you can reconnect with who you really are. You are love. You are fully capable of loving yourself. Do wonderful things for you. Eat the food you love to eat. Listen to the music you love to listen to. Be with the people you love to be with. That's the energy of love coming from you. And what you give from your heart, you get back triple in return. Be like Nancy. Realize, be aware that there's an issue with loving yourself. That's 80% of the battle. 20%. The other 20 is, what are you going to do about it? Do research on the web, how to love yourself more. But you know what? You already are capable of doing that. It's your mind chatter that's gotten in the way. Work past it. You deserve to be here for love. You deserve to love yourself in the best way possible. Feel what that feels like. You got this. Why? Because each one of us is love. End of story. And one more thing. If you're feeling that you can't get to the place where you can love yourself because of something that occurred in your past, here's what I would advise. No matter what it was, no matter how hurtful it was, no matter how intense or serious an issue it was, that was then. This is now. Don't allow something from your past to be in your present and affect your future. That was then. Live for now. Move forward. It's a choice that you can make. Find out what it feels like to walk it, to talk it, and to be it, because that is who and what you really are. We'll see you on the next episode. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, if you resonated with it, please give the video a like. And also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay up to date with all the motivation I will continue to share with you. Thank you.